Bună toată lumea! Hello everyone! Marhaba! Bonjour! This is Raluca Berchiu and I'm excited to be part of Humans of Telecom.
Hey everyone, a very warm welcome to Humans of Telecom, the Unplugged podcast. This is your host Anurag Agarwal. As you all know, this is a platform where we dive into the fast-moving world of telecom, uncovering the personal journeys of industry leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs. These are leaders who not only leave us spellbound with their inspiring tales of challenges and victories, but also showcase their human side that resonates so much with our lives and our experiences. And today, we have a super special guest on our show, someone who I've been following and admiring for a really long time, and someone who I've wanted to have on the show since the very start. But I guess some of the best things in life take time, and it took over 60 episodes to finally get her on our hot seat. This spectacular person has an illustrious career spanning over 15 years, where she's proven that no goal is too ambitious. Her wealth of experience includes not only working with one of the leading telcos of the world, the E&D Group, but also diverse industries like maritime and satellite communication. Whether it is driving digital transformation, streamlining operations, enhancing customer experiences, or positioning companies for explosive growth, she lives by the belief anything is possible. And now she has decided to amalgamate all these amazing experiences into something even more spectacular, a strategic advisory that crafts and executes strategies that turns a client's potential into breakthrough results, pushing the boundaries so that they don't just compete, they become leaders in their industries. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the amazing Raluca Berchiu, founder and CEO at CXM. Raluca, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this journey. It's wonderful to have you here on Humans of Telecom today.
Anurag, thank you so much. What an incredible introduction. It's been a few years in making for sure that we are trying to finally catch up, and we've been trying to find the right time for this. And like you said, I guess some of the best things in life, they take time. But seriously, it's great to be here today, and I'm really excited to share a bit of my journey with you, with all of you.
Thanks a lot, Raluca. And all of us are also eagerly waiting to hear more about what's the story of Raluca. So let's go all the way back. Who was Raluca before all these fancy titles, the companies, and the milestones? What has shaped your very beginning?
Oh, that's a great question, Anurag. And honestly, it makes perfect sense because everything we are today started from our childhood. And if we trace it all back, everything we've done and built stems from those early moments that literally build us up. So if I have to think of, let's say, little Raluca, I would be immediately back in my most magical place, which, believe it or not, it's my grandmother's balcony. I still feel it till today, this air filled with, the scent of cookies, the warm milk, the love that my grandma would be giving me, and surrounded by so many books, lots of books, because she would be like the most eclectic collectioner of books. And if I remember, if you bring me now back in time, and this exercise is very interesting, though. I couldn't read that yet because I was too young. I could sit there for hours imagining and telling her the stories hidden behind those covers. And she would emerge in my game. She would be so interested to hear more about it. And for every story I would come up with, I would invent, I would imagine, and I would tell her. My grandma would reward me with this white paper cat money. Believe it or not. So, interestingly enough, she was probably trying to instill in me, aside from the fact that, have the freedom to unleash my creativity, also to have a bit of, to have an understanding of what means putting an effort and what an effort holds as value. Even the tiniest actions can lead to something meaningful. So I think that played and still plays a very important memory for me. And another thing, if I might say, that has shaped me from a very young age was sports, and was the discipline that comes with sports. I was probably around 5 years old when I was enrolled in a sports performance school, which basically meant waking up 5 a.m., go to swim in icy waters in the dark, like November in Europe, Anurag. You can imagine how cold it is. People are doing ice baths nowadays, and I know what it means to swim in cold waters. um, Take the bus, walk to the station, take the tram, go to school, come home, do your homeworks, look after my little brothers, and repeat. So I think sports have really taught me discipline, have taught me what means commitment, what means teamwork, adaptability. Taught me to push through even when it hurts, when it's uncomfortable. Because if something had to be done, you just do it. So just to story made short, by the time I was 11, I started really earning good money. I was not the pocket type of money, that the parents are giving you. And I started learning the meaning of savings. So by 15, I had the audacity to tell my family I'm moving out of my family nest. I wanted freedom. I wanted to explore the world. I wanted to build something on my own. So I didn't know at that moment it was called vision, but it was something like that.
Interesting. And, I think both the aspects you mentioned, your childhood memories, especially with your grandparents, and also sports, which I feel builds a lot of character. I think both these stories are something which I think a lot of listeners can resonate with. And there is something in this which is so valuable for us to take forward with us, the fact that, small actions then can have such explosive results in the future. And we see that today. So that's wonderful to know. And geographically, Raluca, where are you from? I mean, while we know that today you're based out of Dubai, but originally, where are you from?
I like to say to people I'm from Dracula's country.
Transylvania.
I'm from Romania. And my name is Raluca, not Dracula.
That's a good spin on your name.
Exactly. That's how certain people remember me easier.
Interesting. So now for the listeners, whenever you come across Raluca, so then other than a stunning beauty which will leave you mesmerized, you also know that you're looking at the female version of Dracula. Amazing. And now you're based out of Dubai. So how did this entire Dubai dream come through? What are the challenges? You mentioned that at an early age, you realized that it's important for you to step out from your comfort zone, something which I think we should all learn to do as soon as we can. So how did things go about? How did Dubai come into the picture? And how has that journey been?
Yes, I was fortunate enough to be allowed by my family to move out when I was 15. So thanks for that. But the move to Dubai was, let's call it was such a twist of fate, because one day I was supposed to fly for the New Year's Eve to Portugal. The flight got overbooked. The agent said, okay, what about Dubai? I called my mother. She said, yeah, give it a try, explore it. You always like to travel. So without thinking much, I just said yes. So what happened, Anurag? It was my first time in Dubai. And I still remember I was in this bus from the airport to the hotel. And from that moment, I felt like this abundant energy of the city that hit me. It was like, the city had this caffeine in its veins, and was blending in perfectly with my drive. I immediately became like addicted by this city. I came over and over again, and until one day I went back, I resigned, sold everything, and informed my family, look, that's it, I'm moving. So it was the idea of a new life, a fresh start. The UAE really embraced me with open arms, and it was literally the enthusiasm of building something on my own with my own hands. I didn't want to just visit this place, this beautiful place. I wanted to belong here, and that's when everything changed. So probably sometimes having no backups in life is good, because you literally just pack up your 2 suitcases, one-way ticket, and that's it. So what I can say is that I jumped into entrepreneurship. At that time, I thought that, okay, I finish a master and I should be doing fine, everything I've learned in school. I was working also in Romania, so the experience I got from there, I can manage well. But what I can say, the entrepreneurship was like the master of my life itself. I started into an industry I didn't even know existed, literally. And few people probably know about dredging. Yes, it's part of the maritime sector. So everything was so new, so uncomfortable. But a part of me, inside of me, I knew it's just temporary. And all these sacrifices, all these uncomfortable moments, all these challenges, I knew that growth never shows up dressed as comfort. So, listen, I faced many challenges, but probably one of the biggest one was literally to build up a global brand with zero budget. So no magic happened, just hustle. We didn't copy the giants. There were really literally big companies competing against. We couldn't play their game, so we created our own. That was my very first taste of what I would call today value innovation. We were not the loudest, not the biggest, but the clearest. And once again, that experience has only deepened my core belief, which I still have it till today, that anything, but anything is possible. So that's in a nutshell my journey to moving to the UAE.
Amazing, Raluca. I think that's a very inspiring journey. And I guess you must have come to Dubai at a time where it was still not as up and coming as it's become now, such an established center of the world. And I think you came in at the right time. And from that time to now, you've seen, the country of UAE grow in front of you, and you've grown along with it, and you've embraced the challenges. So I think that's really amazing. And yeah, I think industries like dredging, maritime, that's not something which we can really associate with Raluca. But it's amazing to see this journey, and it's amazing to see that, thank God, that an overbooked flight actually made it possible for this entire sequence of events to unfold. And we have Raluca here with us today in our telecom space. So it's been a very interesting journey. And, I know that you've made so many moves from the depths of the ocean to the space industry and working at one of the world's leading satellite operators. And then you also moved into telecom, and now you are actually leading transformation. So you've actually taken big leaps from one industry to the other. Typically, one moves within an industry, but you've done the daring task of moving within industry amongst industries. That's something quite amazing. So what is the common thread in all of this? If I ask Raluca to put it together as a single common thread, what would you say?
What happens is that I've always been pulled to what most people find, let's say, unappealing, overlook. These unappealing industries, the ones that are working behind the scenes to keep the world running. Whether it was dredging coastlines or connecting continents from space or powering telecom networks or, I don't know, transforming patient care like we are doing right now through CXM. Different industries, but the challenges are always the same. It's strategy, it's experience, it's transformation. So I step in where processes, systems, cultures are tangled, where people are underserved, where its clarity is needed in order to move forward. And when these industries get it right, they give people the freedom. They make a bigger impact. So people have the freedom to connect, to grow, to live a better life. So that would be a common trend in all of this.
Wonderful, Raluca. You speak a lot about people in this answer of yours, and I think that's exactly what this show is about. The people behind the scenes and how you make a person felt. That has such a long term impact. So let's jump to the signature question. In fact, so our signature question is that what does being human mean to you? What kind of a person would Raluca want the world to remember you as? So what would you say about that?
Being human to me means knowing that this ride doesn't last forever and choosing every single day to be happy, to be kind, to be honest and useful while you are still here around. I want to be the kind of person who, when I'll be 80, I hope I'll make it till 80, can bump into a former business partner, colleague, and smile. To have just peace and happiness and reminiscing over the good times. And if there is one thing people often say about me is that I always hear it, is the same thing, is that I carry a certain energy, which is a mix of drive, kindness, and honesty. And I hope that this never fades because I want to be remembered as someone who used these qualities to always uplift others, to remind them of their strengths and to make them better persons.
That's an amazing answer, Raluca. And I think you are already living up to that statement quite well. Today, you're running CXM also, which is something around bringing out the best version of your clients. So I think that's really amazing to see that both in your personal front and in your professional front, you're actually living by the ideals you want the world to remember you as. Amazing. And I'm sure you're going to live much more than 80. The world can do with more Raluca.
Ah,
So I'm sure you'll very much be around alive and kicking.
I hope so too, Anurag. And I wish you the same as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, let's wrap up with one last question, which is actually a fun section. So, two truths and a lie. Tell us two truths and a lie in the form of three statements. And I'm sure each one of them will be equally exciting and interesting. And it is my job to try and figure out which one amongst them is a lie. So, do you have three statements for us?
Ale, lawyer by degree. I hiked Everest and I had a conversation with an astronaut. Are you gonna guess or?
Yeah. It is my job to try and guess. If you spill the answer, then there is really no fun in it, right? So, interesting. So, honestly, all three in your case are quite possible. You having studied to become a lawyer, I think that's very much possible. Hiking, I know that, I mean, given the number of times I've met you, I've seen that fitness is something which is very close to your heart. And hiking is something that I can totally imagine you'd be hiking and scaling most of the mountains around the world. Hiking Everest, yeah, okay, that's I'll say a tall claim, but let's hope that's the truth. And talking to an astronaut, yeah, I mean, you have worked in the satellite space. It's still, of course, again a long shot, but maybe that's the truth. So all three of them appear to be truths. But if I have to say one of them is possibly a lie, then and I hope that I am wrong, and I hope that's also the truth. I'd say that maybe you have not scaled Mount Everest, but you've definitely studied to become a lawyer as well as had a conversation with an astronaut. So Am I right out here?
So I did meet an astronaut. He worked for NASA.
Okay.
Everest, not yet, maybe on my list. I'm heading to Kazakhstan tomorrow for a serious hiking, so I've been training a lot. Maybe next is gonna be Everest. You never know.
Awesome.
So yes, I'm a lawyer by degree. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. And was it never of interest to pursue law? Or is that something which somewhere still comes up in Raluca's conversations?
If there's one thing I could pick up from that university, of course, from many others, is that truth has a way of showing up in business, in life, in relationships. And I don't just want to make the right call in life. I want to make the honest call. And once you do that, once you feel it, you can never ever change it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And how was the experience of meeting an astronaut? I mean, how did your paths cross each other? And is there anything very special from that moment that you can share with us?
And interestingly enough, I met an astronaut in Dubai. I didn't meet it while I was working for the satellite operator, even though, my hosts were higher, but I did meet him in Dubai. And no, I didn't get a chance to ask too many questions because, I'm a very inquisitive person. I always like to know more and more and more, just a little bit. But yeah, I can tick the box on Anurag's podcast.
Amazing, Raluca. But I must say that it's been a wonderful conversation. As I said earlier, that while we had to wait for a long time to get you on the show, but I think every moment of this conversation has been amazing, and I'm hoping that the listeners loved it too. So thank you so much for your time. And I do hope very soon we get to catch up as well.
Thank you so much, Anurag. Sorry for making you wait, but it was for the best. I'm sure we're going to have much more experiences to share for the next one. Take care. It was really nice to connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raluca. And I must say that, this wasn't just a leadership story. It was actually, this conversation was a masterclass in resilience, humility, and also the truth. And, I strongly feel that even the CXM way of working would be something around that, And to all our listeners here, thanks a lot for tuning into the show. We hope this episode gave you a good glimpse of the human side of Raluca Berchiu, a multifaceted personality who has conquered so many frontiers in her life and is soon going to conquer Mount Everest as well. A customer experience advocate who also focuses on the human side of business. A sports enthusiast who thrives on a competitive spirit. And finally, a wonderful human being who strongly believes that anything is possible. That for us is Raluca Berchiu. So, if you enjoyed today's episode, do stay tuned in because we shall soon be releasing yet another episode and another compelling story from the telecom space. And do follow the podcast on your preferred streaming channel. On behalf of Humans of Telecom, this is your host Anurag Agarwal signing off for now. Take care.